ये चलता कैसे उसको खींच के रख, उसको खींच। एक सेकंड बेटर है। नहीं ऐसे करके टेढ़ा हो रहा है ना,
ही देते हैं ना यहाँ पे। वॉइस ठीक है। कुछ मैं पेपर वेपर लेके आता हूँ, पेपर लेके
यूं होगा ना तब ठीक है। पेपर से आई डोंट थिंक वैसे पेपर से होगा, क्योंकि ये आगे से यूं करके सपोर्ट है इसको ना।
म्यूट कर दो।
बेटर तो है एक बार उस पे
दो पेपर की जरूरत है नहीं,
तभी याद रहेगा। Yes, yes. ठीक है और 4 से और फेस को एनर्जाइज मारने में कोई फायदा नहीं ये तो लो या ऐसे ये तो लो तो हम फेस को एनर्जाइज करने की ठीक है इसलिए हमेशा हाथ बिल्कुल अच्छा तो एनर्जाइज करने के लिए बहुत छोटी चीज करेंगे तो क्या होती है सबको हंसना होता है अरे लाफ्टर योगा की ठीक है हम आपके साथ बिल्कुल हंसते हैं कतई नहीं तो हम क्या करेंगे नो भाई नो व्हाट वी हैव टू डू इज सेंट्रल एनर्जी एक दूसरे की तरफ हो So what you have to do is बिल्कुल मैक्सिमम हंसता है ना आवाज आनी चाहिए ना ठीक है ऑन द काउंट ऑफ 3 2 1 गो पूरे पूरे बिल्कुल लिप्स ऊपर तक अच्छा आप दांत दिखा सकते हो आवाज अभी नहीं है दांत सबके लिए चाहिए यार ये कौन सी लॉजिक है? अरे तो आप बेटे बोलते पूरा इसमें कभी भी करना है, ठीक है? एक दूसरे की ऐसी कोई स्माइल, ठीक है? अभी आप देखिए, वन सारे एक साथ, वन टू, एवरीवन सबके पेट से आवाज now everyone, such a beautiful morning. And this morning is the morning which we have woken up. ये यहाँ पे ना आप लोग समय निकाल के आएंगे. You are who and who of your field, right? आप लोगों ने अपने अपनी फील्ड में कुछ ना कुछ किया हुआ देखो तभी हम आएंगे. वरना गोविंद जी की टीम बनाएंगे. प्यार नहीं आता. तो जो भी है उसको कितना प्यार आपने गोविंद जी ने बताया, जितना प्यार आप गोविंद जी की कॉलिंग को करते हो, उसकी रिस्पेक्ट करते हो, उतनी शिद्दत से गुड मॉर्निंग आना चाहिए. गोविंद सर अब तो आप गए. ऑन द काउंट ऑफ थ्री सारे हम कैसे नहीं बोलेंगे गुड मॉर्निंग. एक साथ नीचे राइट साइड बीच में 1 2 3 गुड. पूरे अच्छे से बिल्कुल लम्स लगना चाहिए क्या गुड मॉर्निंग. ठीक है, 1 2 3 गुड मॉर्निंग. पूरा गुड मॉर्निंग वाला. ठीक है, जैसे बचपन में जब मम्मी आती वो वाला किया हुआ ना सर तो भाई गुड मॉर्निंग करते 1 2 3 गुड मॉर्निंग. सारे के सारे हाथ में फिर चाहो तो हाथ पीछे देखो कोई नहीं समझ नहीं आएगी. ठीक है, oh, my name is Varun Gupta. I am a corporate theatre trainer and wonderful day. I not only the presence which you have made sure that you are here. Out of all the things in the world, आपके पास 7 लाख काम हो सकते थे, 7,000 जगहें हो सकती थी जाने के लिए, but you came here. And acknowledge you. Can you acknowledge each and every one by really giving a good round of applause for that? Okay, so देखो स्क्रीन कर गई है ट्रिप. क्या कर गई है? अरे स्क्रीन क्या कर गई है? तो अब हम सबको ही वो एनर्जी और ज्यादा लानी पड़ेगी, right? So first of all, I would like to welcome you today, right? Why we are here for? Why we are here for? What do we do? So HR Success Talk is actually honored to be hosting this event that brings some of the best minds on earth here. And not only best, but innovative. Why innovative? Anyone? Why innovative? Are you guys innovative? Yes. Are they making? So one resource makes the other resource is defined. उसका कोई ना कोई वैल्यू निकले, राइट? ह्यूमन रिसोर्स का रिसोर्स है नहीं. वही 7 बिलियन लोग हैं जो इतने से अधिक इंसान को एक हाथी चढ़ा देते हैं और उन जंगलों को काट देते हैं जबकि वहां पे हमसे ज्यादा खतरनाक जानवर रहते हैं. So ये innovation है सरकार, right? So you have been an innovative and inspiring HR leader. You are from Delhi NCR. What is the objective? The objective of organizing this summit and award ceremony is basically to recognize and celebrate the incredible contribution made by HR professionals to the success of their organizations. Now, I have a very special anecdote when we talk about recognition. लोगों को लगता है वो 500, 1000, 1500 रुपए, 5000 रुपए की वो ट्रॉफी होती है जो recognition देती है. Is it? I don't think so. आप यहाँ पे उस एक ट्रॉफी के लिए नहीं आए हैं. आप यहाँ पे सिर्फ बैठ के ऐसे ही बात करने गए हैं. सर ने स्टार्टिंग में डिफाइन करा आप क्यों आए हैं. आप आए हैं कि गोविंद जी ने प्यार से बुलाया या फिर whatever relation with you have with this organization, but you came for that love, for that respect. That I see you, man. I really see you. You are acknowledged. Your being is acknowledged, and that's why you are here. That's what Govind saw. That's what anyone sees. And just to make sure that people see that in us, we go for award shows, we go for ceremonies. Otherwise, there is, मतलब हमें इनसे कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है, right? Stage पे आने से लोगों को ये होता है कि अगर मैं आई, there is this some wonderful thing which I'm doing, and I'm just seeing you. Before appreciation, the one thing which any human requires is acknowledgement. And that's why we are here, to acknowledge you, to acknowledge each and every one of you, the last person who is sitting on that desk, to the front person who is sitting here, to acknowledge you. Now, you have played a critical role, and we want to honor your achievements and provide a platform so that you can share. You can share what? You can share the best practices which you have, innovated in your organizations. Because learning, I may have my 20, 30, 50 years of experience, but you also have yours, right? मैं क्यों ना 50 साल दोबारा लगाऊं यार 100 का जो मर जाऊंगा, right? Then I can learn from you. So that's why we are here. So once again, a huge round of applause for Mr. Neki and for this HR Success platform that we are here. आपको लगता है सिर्फ नेकी सर ने काम किया है, उनके अकेले के बस की नहीं है. So every event requires people who work behind the scenes, to make sure that the award shines the brightest. And that's where our title sponsor comes in. Matyaj, the gift, the beautiful trophies you're going to receive is by our title partner, Matyaj. So who is Matyaj? They stand out as a game changer, providing bespoke gifting solutions and end-to-end services that have helped numerous organizations reduce their attrition. सारे चाहते हैं भाई साहब एक काम कर दो, attrition कम कर दो. चाहते नहीं चाहते? Yes or no? यार देखो मैं अकेला बकबक नहीं करने वाला. Yes or no? Right? And gifting, who doesn't like a gift? छोटा हो, बड़ा हो, gift तो gift सबको चाहिए, right? And again, of your efforts. So by leveraging the power of gifting, they use to, they reduce the attrition rate, and it gives you a connect with your employees. That again, we are seeing you and you are acknowledged and welcomed for what you have done on an emotional level too. Because वो जो gift होगा वो जो वहाँ पे रखा जाएगा ना किसी घर में, और वो बच्चे आके पूछेंगे मम्मी आपको कहाँ से मिला? अरे मैं वहाँ गई थी ना बेटा, तो वहाँ मिला था. And then the whole recall value of that event, the people you met there, comes back to you. So Matyaj has redefined the corporate gifting landscape, cementing its position as the go-to partner for organizations looking to make a lasting impact on their employees. So apart from that, we have several co-sponsors. Before that, can we have a huge round of applause for Matyaj, please? Although this seems to be the most boring part of the event, where we are just calling out the names of people and talking about their organizations, but trust me, without them, you won't be sitting here, I won't be standing here. Yes or no? Because we all do something, we all contribute in some manner, and the people who have contributed in terms like this, whose names are here, they have contributed in a manner so that we all can be here. So a special call out to all our co-title sponsors as well. Sir Padampat Singhania University. We have ma'am here. Can we have a huge round of applause for it? So, SPSC Liverpool, an initiative of JK Siemens, has a diverse, multicultural learning environment. The university offers employability-driven, new-age industry-ready programs and focuses on innovation, robust curriculum and delivery, upskilling, and global certificates. The visionary leader, Professor Dr. Padmakali Banerjee, FRSA London, President and Vice Chancellor, an astute academic administrator, emphasizes on education for sustainable development, leadership, well-being, and youth empowerment. And in the time I was here before, and as a host, you get the chance to meet people before they meet anyone else. I just got present to her a beautiful vision, where she said कि आर्टिस्ट बहुत सारे हैं और हर कोई ना कुछ सेल कर रहा होता है अपनी पेंटिंग सेल करते हैं मैम आई एम जस्ट borrowing that story so please don't mind and she makes sure that all that is seen and guided through and taken up to the international standards और जो उनकी वर्थ है जो वो आज 2000-5000 की अपनी पेंटिंग बेच रहे थे and if that's worth 2.5 or 3 lakh it is received. And how does she do that? She refers them by putting her credibility on stage. So, ma'am, a great kudos for you, and thank you so much for doing that. The next one, if I have the ticker, is it working now? Is it working now? Okay, thank you. So, Great EHR, Great Service Software Private Limited. It enables HR departments of all shapes and sizes to leverage technology for effectiveness and efficiency. Do we have a person from Gate EHR? So can you stand up, please? So, आप technology provide करते हैं HR services को. आप इंसानों को वो tool देते हैं जिससे वो एक से हजारों के पास पहुंच पाते हैं. So can we have a special mention and clap for him? Thank you so much. And I see you. Okay. The Great HR platform is a suite of cloud HR solutions for small and medium enterprises. It offers productivity tools for better people management, simpler HR processes, and professional delivery of HR services. It is used by 20,000 plus customers and 2 million users in India and 20 plus countries. Along with that, the list is long, but it's a good one. And we have a good number, 10 ka dam hai hamare paas. We have 10 amazing sponsors. The next one is GLA University, Mathura. It's a private university with more than 24 years of excellence in education sector. Do we have a person from GLA University? आपको ऐसे गुड मॉर्निंग बोलने के आप मेरे को मैच करो और मैं माइक हटा ताकि बोलो सेम प्लेटफॉर्म पे ठीक है क्या मैंने आई एम कनेक्ट So next we have Amrita Devi Foundation, an NGO working towards women of Uttarakhand. CHROs, a corporate training outsourcing and IT consulting company. Cognify, a background verification company. Your candidates are screened. कौन है भाई? Cognify. Sir, कहाँ से लिए line? Your candidate are screening. It's an amazing line. क्या बात है? Great. Okay, Virtual Solutions, a decade-old leading recruitment and outsourcing company. Synergy Environics, a health tech firm working in the field of emissions protection and enhancing wellness. Maharishi Markandeshwar University, Bullana, an offer decline, a solution to recruiters' problem. Amazing workplaces, integrated HR platforms for employer branding, and finally, we have our silver sponsors, Corporate Manpower Services, a leading outsourcing service in manufacturing and hospitality sector, and Give Back, a social enterprise on a mission to create socially responsible society for 2030. Whom do we have for Give Back? From Give Back? What's her good name? Kritika. Kritika, say good morning to everyone. ऐसे वाला good morning ही ये नहीं चल रहा है. Say a proper one. Good morning, everyone. अरे यार कृतिका दीना फिर वही बात चलो कोई नहीं हम तुम्हारे पास ले आते हैं तो लास्ट वाले होना देखा फर्स्ट और लास्ट में थोड़ा हार्ड हो जाता है
Good morning, everyone.
क्यों मजाक कर रही हो माइक लेके भी ऐसे बोल रही हो you have to be powerful it's a give back to the society जितनी पावर से ये मिशन है ना उतनी पावर से बोला थे
Good morning, everyone.
Good. Okay, so now I call on stage one of the people for which you all have come here, right? And मैंने बहुत टक कर ली अब जरा start करने का time आ गया है. So I would like to call upon a person who is an HR business leader, blogger, social activist, and investor with dual master's degree in computers application and business administration from Symbiosis University, Pune. He has 20 years of rich experience in the field of talent management. He has been awarded as HR leader by the Great Place to Work, top 100 HR tech minds by World HRD Congress, best CHRO by WE Matters, and top 20 India Talent Championships, and LNDA leader by CHRO Summit. My God. Currently, he is designated as Head of Talent Europe and India for a global IT company called 3 Pillar Global, having a global presence in 8 countries, US, India, Romania, Mexico, Costa Rica, Czech Republic, Canada, and the UK. He's also the founder of the HR social group called HR Success Talk, which has more than 150,000 members. He enjoys guiding young HR professionals in their growing careers. He is the founder and trustee of an NGO called Amrita Devi Foundation, which works for women's skill development and employment in Uttarakhand. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause? Let's hear some words for you. Oh yes, you're going to use that.
Yeah, I thought that you paid for it so that you... All right. Good morning, all of you. Good morning. First of all, thank you very much for coming here. I know all the people who are sitting here, the profiles you guys are at, how busy your schedule is. And if you guys have come here, it means a lot for me. It means a lot for the community we have. I think HR Success Talk की जो जर्नी है उसको 11 साल पूरे होने आए हैं. ये जो आज आप देख रहे हैं और बहुत सारे लोग तो हमें बहुत पुराने से जानते हैं और हम कुछ पुरानी बातें भी कर रहे थे कि कभी उन्होंने हमको देखा था तो हम कहाँ क्या किस तरह के इवेंट्स करते थे और आज हम किस तरह के जो इवेंट्स करते हैं. और नॉट ओनली इवेंट्स, आई थिंक इट्स द पर्पस बिहाइंड व्हाट वी डू ऑल. तो ये 11 साल की एक मेहनत है, ये हमारा एक पैशन है, एक पर्पस ड्रिवन इनिशिएटिव है जिसके साथ करीब 100 से ज्यादा वॉलंटियर्स जुड़े हुए. और वो वॉलंटियर्स दे आर एट डिफरेंट लेवल्स इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. आपको CHRO भी मिलेंगे और आपको वो भी मिलेंगे जो अभी MBA से पास आउट होने के लिए आए हैं. कभी कभी मैं कहता हूँ ये अपने आप में एक छोटी सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो कि शायद लोगों को सैलरी नहीं मिलती, बट जो मिलता है वो सैलरी से बहुत ज्यादा बड़ा होता है बिकॉज़ दे गेट सम सैटिस्फैक्शन एंड अ पर्पस ड्रिवन इनिशिएटिव. शुरू किया था हमने दिल्ली NCR से और I can proudly tell that today we are in 7 countries and we are spreading our wings. और वो लोग भी उतने ही एक्साइटेड रहते हैं जितने हम लोग यहाँ पे. ऐसे बहुत सारे इनिशिएटिव्स HR talk करते हैं. I'm sure Kruti, who's our country head in India, will come and talk about it a lot. So I keep it for her to talk. But what I can say is that all people who are associated with this community is because of the purpose and the passion we all share. And today, I would like to welcome all of you, whether you are our awardees, very special to us, or our speakers and moderators, or all the delegates who have come, and our sponsors. I would like to thank all of you. You have come here to make this event possible. It will be an event which you will like to come again and again. With that said, I would like to open the ceremony and over to you, Varun, to kick off us. Thank you.
यार ये kick off वाला बड़ी बड़ा वैसा बोल रहे हैं. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you so much. So, one thing which I just anecdote I would like to share with you is, तो गोविंद से पहली बार हमने 2021 में किया था ना वो अवार्ड शो. तो he came across जब स्टार्टिंग में जब आप जानते नहीं हो and there is this big personality in front of you who you are meeting for the first time and it will come across like that. स्वैगर के साथ आता है गोविंद और you just stand there and feel यार इस बंदे में एटीट्यूड होगा ना, बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में है, बड़े लेवल पे है, ऐसे इवेंट वाला कर रहा है and you just do and he just comes across as someone who will shake hand with you, who will hug you and say कैसा है, and that's Govind for me. So thank you Govind for actually providing that space where people can be with you, right?
I will cry if you talk.
Now, taking it ahead, before calling upon the next speaker, मैं ना आप लोगों से एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ, and I will take 2-3 shares. Is it okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Is it okay? ठीक है. So now, आज हम यहाँ पे आए हैं, तो I just want to ask you, what you want to contribute today? Not मैं अच्छा मेरे को 2-3 क्लीशे आंसर मत देना. मैं तो स्पीकर बन के आया हूँ या मैं अवार्ड लेने आया हूँ, नहीं वो नहीं. आज इस 6 घंटे जो आपने जिंदगी के निकाले हैं, आज आप इस 6 घंटे से क्या लेके जाना चाहते हो और क्या देके जाना चाहते हो? इन 1 line only, पोथी नहीं पढ़नी है हमें. 1 से 2 लाइनों में कौन बताना चाहेगा? Anyone? Go ahead. What's your good name, sir?
My name is Krishna Pandit. If I say one liner, I always feel that network is network. So I'm here to be with all people, those who are in my community, meet them, and remember them for long.
Yeah. Good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, go ahead, sir.
Joy only. Joy and joy only.
Sir, आपकी स्माइल ने वैसे आदत तो दे ही दिया. Thank you. यार ये acknowledgement ना हर साल बन गया. हाथों में हमारे मेहंदी देने के लिए ठीक है नाम हट जाएगी. Let's acknowledge them. And one of the last year, anyone last who would like to say something? Why are you here? Go ahead, sir.
Friends and relationships.
Sorry, तेज बोल दो.
Friends and relationships.
Friends and relationships. Go a bit deeper. तो हम ना philosophical आंसर नहीं देंगे, ठीक है? हम वो आंसर देंगे कि मेरा नाम ये है और आज मैं यहाँ से ये लेके जाऊँगा, ये लेके जाऊँगा.
So I basically came here to make new friends and relationship which will last for longer.
That's nice. So relationship building, no? So everyone is here. Most, one of the key reasons, if not the only reason, one of the key reasons is to have a better relation with your own community. Yes or no?
Yes, Varun. Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's talk about the platform which is giving us that. So HR Success Talk is a vibrant community of over 150,000 HR professionals and business leaders that was founded by, of course, Govind. The community was established. What is the aim? कोई भी चीज established होती है तो उसका कोई ना कोई aim होना चाहिए ना? होना चाहिए मैम? Okay. So the aim is actually to provide a platform for HR professionals and leaders to come together and support each other. आज मैम मिली सर से किसी और से पता भी नहीं चला. रजनीश मेरे से मिले and we were like, okay, he needs something which maybe I do, I need something which maybe you do, and we can learn. So that's how we are supporting each other, right? And to come together and support each other, actually their learning growth. Whether you are looking to expand your knowledge in HR or simply connect with like-minded individuals, HR Success Talk offers a wealth of opportunities to help you succeed in your career. And with this, I would like to call upon the person who actually handles a lot of workload in this organization and who would like to take you through this whole journey. So may I have the honor of calling upon Deepthi Kurane, please. Can we have a big round of applause for her? Just for that. Right? So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Varun. So once again, a very good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
HR Success Talks, HR Leaders Emerging Awards mark the 20th. This is a momentous occasion where we are going to engage in stimulating conversations surrounding today's most essential topics and celebrate the achievement of top 50 CHROs from Delhi NCR and recognize their efforts who have been instrumental in driving success in their respective organizations. Today, I have been given the responsibility to present HR Success Talk to all of you and take you through and walk you through what community is all about. So without taking much more time, I'll move forward. As you can see here, HR Success Talk is a community of 150,000 members. And these members are not only from HR, but they are from business leaders. We have our footprints in 6 countries, as you can see here: India, Ghana, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Philippines, Costa Rica. And with this back, we also signed our new chapter in Iraq, which is far away from war now, and also coming up as one of the regions where the business are moving.
Yeah,
You might also be thinking, why you or someone should join this community? What is that people get out of this? So here we have the first thing we talk about is sharing and learning. This is the one and the best thing you can get from this platform. You can also find coaches and mentors here. Many people who are sitting here or watching this online who are looking for someone to guide and mentor them for any of the challenges they might be facing in their professions or maybe they are starting their career. All the leaders sitting here are now on a stage of their life where they want to give back to the society and industry by helping them through the mentoring and coaching to those people. So this is the right platform and opportunity for you to find a mentor or mentee and contribute towards the HR journey. The last and the most important thing about being part of this community is relationships and networking, which many people say, everyone says that, Govind said, everybody said. So this is one of the key parts which you can get out of it. We have countless stories of people who have found job, business opportunity, fitness opportunity, and more through the participation in this community. This is our social media presence. I can proudly say that HR Success Talk has a prominent presence on all social media platforms. We have an excellent number of followers and are actively engaging with our community on various platforms. Today, I would like to thank the hard work of our social media team because this event is being live broadcast on multiple platforms and being watched by potential viewers all around the world. In case you have not joined any of our platforms or you're not part of it, so just go to any of the social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just hit the like button, subscribe button, and follow them and become part of it. This will also help you to keep informing you about the latest updates about HR Success Talk. So let's share and learn together and be connected on social media. There is a vision, the core of why HR Success Talk is here. The vision of HR Success Talk is to bring HR professionals and leaders across the world at one platform so that we can solve talent-related problems and make the organizations a better place to work. How do we do that? Look at the way which we will use to make this happen. In COVID, we started webinars, but it is on hold now. Why? Because it requires a lot of time to put efforts and organize any webinars. But we have better ways to connect with people. We have done so many webinars during COVID time, rest of the time. But now we are focusing on the HR conferences like we are meeting here. We have organized 32 HR Springs meet and conferences so far, and today we are celebrating our first HR Leaders Summit with all of you. And now, you can see some glimpse. You can see some glimpse of the previous events on the screen, which we have done multiple places. As Govind has mentioned, I would like to reiterate that HR Success Talk is 11 years old now, and we have celebrated the 11th birthday of HR Success Talk in the month of February. And work for a cause which we all are here now. Thanks to the generous contribution of our members and supporters, we were able to make a real difference in the lives of those who need it the most. We also have an HR forum where people come and ask their queries and questions about HR topics, and their questions get answered by the senior members of the forum. This is an online forum which we have where we have 20,000 members registered with us. We also have a YouTube channel, and the objective of this YouTube channel is to support HR professionals by learning HR functions through our insightful videos. Whenever you get some time, just go through the YouTube channel. You'll find a lot of insightful videos. We have a lot of playlists as well on various HR topics, maybe talent acquisition, HR analytics, learning and development, leadership development, to name a few. In the form of course, which is shown by various HR leaders like you are sitting here to impart their knowledge with those who want to learn about those topics. This is the glimpse of some of the channel playlists. Moving forward to another one. Today we are celebrating the top of the CHRO Awards, but we also have a particular segment where we recognize the HR leaders and HR and business leaders through our Global Excellence Awards with the 10 different categories, maybe from HR to business to academics, NGO to women. We recognize around hundreds of bodies across the world. And soon, we are going to launch our October Excellence Awards, which you all from the social media and definitely will participate. These are some lists of the previous awards and the media coverage. If you are a blogger, love writing about the different HR topics and have original thoughts, of course, please do share your thoughts with us. We will be more than be happy to publish those thoughts on our platform in the form of blogs and articles. This is our Elite Club. We would like to invite you all of the members. So what Elite Club is actually, this is an invite-only club of close group of CXOs, CHROs, and head of functions where they come together and in an informal setup talk about HR problems and challenges and try to learn from each other and solve those problems. These are the really interesting conversations that happen with a lot of fun and thought-provoking conversations. Moving forward, the glimpse of previous meets where we launched white papers and articles all over the platform. You can see it here. College collaboration is one of the key activities which we are doing now, where we are helping colleges and students by organizing training sessions, placements, internships, and many more opportunities. We are partnering with the colleges. Now, once again, it's time to meet our founder and global CEO, the brain behind the inception of this community. Of course, he is sitting here with us. But do you think he is the only one behind the success of this community? No. We do have a pool of advisors who help us to take this community forward. These are our advisors. Rashmi ma'am is sitting here, P.K. Gupta sir is sitting here, and there are many people who are watching us online and supporting us. Now, these are not the only two people, the advisors and the CEO who are running this community, but the actual work is done by someone else. So other than this,
Actual work is the key word.
minds of someone else, and some of the biggest they are but global chapters and yes, each global chapters, and I'm standing here in front of you for India. You also want to know how it actually works. These are the some cases which you can see here, but we have 100 volunteers team who are working to make this happen, and 64% of them are women. Yeah, Ritu and so many people who are working behind this motto. And of course, many people who are not here. These are the people who bring our mission to life and make this community thrive. Bring our dedication, our team, that's around the world. Organization structure. We understand that a community cannot be scaled without an organized structure. So we have a structure in place that allows us to scale our efforts. All of the volunteers you have seen in the previous slide hold some position in the structure to try and help to ensure the success of this community. If you also want to be a volunteer, contribute towards the society, we all are here. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we are happy to help you and assist you. Make you part of this community. This is about HR success talk. Before signing off, I would like to dedicate 2 lines to our founder for creating this wonderful platform. Though I don't know how to decide poem, what poetry is these 2 lines, but I try my best for this. मैं अकेला ही चलाता जाने के मंजिल मगर, मैं अकेला ही चलाता जाने के मंजिल मगर, लोग साथ आते गए, कारवां में चले.
I'm going to tell you about Deepti. She's a dynamic and accomplished professional with actually a decade of experience on human resources across a diverse range of industries, including manufacturing, automobile, events, and IT. With a strong background in various HR roles, including HR operations, HR business partner, performance management, and employee engagement. As the first and founding member of the HR Success Talk community, Deepti takes a pride in her role as the head Global Executive Committee and country in India, having joined a volunteer, a petite volunteer, I will say, and to manage, to scale up the ladder and become community social media. She has played an instrumental role in the growth and success. Can we have a huge round of applause for Deepti? Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Before moving forward, I would just like to, इसके बाद बड़ा power pack कुछ आने वाला है, तो उससे पहले 2 चीजें हैं. Again एक सवाल, चलेगा एक सवाल? चलेगा एक सवाल? सर जी, मैं हूँ यहाँ, आप भी बोलेंगे तो सुनाई देगा, ठीक है? हाँ, तो दोबारा बोल रहे हैं, चलेगा एक सवाल? Now, what does community mean? Why anyone, or for that sake you, want to be part of a community? आप लोग या हम सारे लोग अकेले भी तो तरुण है, अपनी अपनी फील्ड में अपना अपना कुछ तो अच्छा कर ही रहे हैं. So what is the meaning of community for you? What does it do for you? Okay, पहले सर ने हाथ उठाया था, बोलिए सर.
Together we can win.
Together we can win. Nice. Okay.
Just provide you a support system.
Mm-hmm.
Help can reach out to people.
Okay. So when we say reach out, you need support and you need help. कई लोग कैसा हो सकता है कि कोई बोले कि मुझे सपोर्ट की जरूरत नहीं है? Is there anyone who can say that? No, right? Because at any given point or at some given point in our lives, we do become vulnerable, right? हमारा ये शरीर मतलब सिर्फ शरीर को ही अगर ले लें तो कोरोना में सबको दिखा दिया ना, बेटा कितनी ताकत तुम्हें है? Yes or no? Right? So that's where I guess the role of a community comes. Okay? And अच्छा एक चीज community के नाम पे याद आया, we have actually some great takeaways. तो आज आपका यहाँ पे आने में आपको एक और added advantage मिलने वाला है. So in the exhibition area we have takeaways for all of you from our sponsors. So please do not forget to collect them. And we also have personalized takeaways for our awardees and speakers from our title sponsor Makiaj. So please do not forget to go to the exhibition area and collect them during the lunch time. Also, we have now some amazing books from Ms. Padma Kali and Mr. Rajneesh. Can we have a huge round of applause for that? The name of the book is The Power of Positivity, Optimism, and the Seventh Sense. So I would like to just, start में, okay. So Matyaj, we have. Okay, we will come to this after. Matyaj तो ले आते हैं, इसका title sponsors हैं. थोड़ी देर के लिए screen time दे देते हैं, ज़्यादा है. Okay, so now book name is The Power of Positivity, Optimism, and the Seventh Sense. And can we have the author stand up, please? मैं पीछे में कर रहा हूँ. Can we have the author stand up, please? So, a popular point globally and sold across 40 countries, The Power of Positivity, Optimism, and the Seventh Sense introduces the concept of optimism as the seventh sense. हमने तो आज तक 6 सुनी थी, मैडम ने 7 में निकाल दिए, चलो कोई बात नहीं, अच्छी बात है. Highlighting the milestone achievements of world leaders in various domains, represented as harbingers of optimism. It acts as a beacon of hope and inspiration for readers to move forward with relentless fervor and spirit. The myriad facets of human life, such as emotions, relationships, and accomplishments, are artfully expressed through anecdotal narrations. Can we once again have a huge round of applause? And we are blessed, our souls are blessed, and that's why we not only have one book, but we have 2 books. And the name of the other book is, book name, what is the, Rajneesh, what is the name of the book? Go ahead, please. Say your book's name, come on, say your book's name.
The organization, we get trouble with one thing, that people are not performing. So my book talks about how to build winning team.
Really? So, मैं देखो मेरा तो काम है, मैं दोबारा पढ़ूंगा तो फिर. So, are you struggling to create a successful team? And do you find it challenging to motivate your team members, collaborate effectively, and achieve your goal? Okay, rather than reading out, can we have this as a conversation? Does anyone of you struggle with teams anywhere?
I started with Microsoft Teams.
400 teams, yes. 400. Okay, so we do face some struggle in collaboration. Yes, no? Yeah. There are some. हमारे दिमाग में बहुत कुछ चल रहा होता है और हम बोलते हैं यार कर क्यों नहीं दी ऐसी टीम, मतलब इतना पावरफुल मैंने मोटिवेशन yes or no मैम, right? पर फिर भी वो कई बार मोटिवेट नहीं हो पाता. Can you say why? Do you have any answer why? क्या लैक करता है? Willpower, okay. Share vision, ये I book की option. Nice, okay. और क्या? Anyone else? Come on, do that as well. What is there? क्या अगर team motivate नहीं होती तो what are the things? Hooks, sensitive, lack of inspirational leadership. Very true. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Well, yes, ma'am. Ah, that's. Do we agree with that? Yeah. Okay. Yes, sir. We are individuals, so हर किसी का अपना अपना चलता है.
Individualistic.
Ah, okay. Yes, sir.
Wisdom,
Wisdom. क्या मतलब उनके पास नहीं होती, ऊपर से नहीं मिलती होती.
application of fact and this.
Application of facts. Okay. Anyone else? Cohesiveness. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so different personalities and different thought processes.
हाँ. तो भाई साहब ये तो रहने वाला है. फिर क्या करें? Yes, sir.
We don't tolerate or accept others.
We don't tolerate or accept others. Okay. और इसका सबसे अच्छा एग्जांपल बताओ कहाँ पे मिलता है? बताओ कहाँ? नहीं. हमारी दिल्ली की सड़कों पे बस कोई ऐसे गाड़ी तक चला जाए, सारे खाना याद हो जाता है, right? So that's the level of intolerance. That parking अगर गलत spot पे हो गई, we have seen so many crimes happening क्योंकि parking किसी ने गलत कर दी है. So these are very real issues which we are talking about here, and which I guess Rajneesh has tried to compile in a book. So in want to create a successful team, it's easier than you think. You will discover the secrets to building a high-performing team that achieves extraordinary results. Drawing on decades of experience in team building and leadership, this book offers practical, proven strategies to help you. Practical is the key word. Build trust and rapport among team members, clarify team goals and expectations, foster a culture of accountability and ownership, identify and leverage individual strengths, overcome common team challenges such as conflict and lack of management. So Rajneesh, I guess that you have actually made out a good book. और अगर ये जो लिखा है, ये सच में हो रहा है, तो फिर तो तालियां बन जाती हैं, right? Thank you so much. And with this, finally the person who is on the screen, do we have Himanshu here? Actually, he's not there. Okay, see. Right? Of course, he only. So, before calling now, I know many of you would know him, but still, to make someone who has made personally a very, big and huge impact in my life by providing the kind of beautiful space he holds for people in collaboration. I would like to call upon Himanshu, who is a seasoned serial entrepreneur and angel investor with an impressive portfolio of successful ventures. He has founded and led multiple verticals, including online troubleshooters, a top-tier domain and web hosting company, CHROs, a cutting-edge corporate trading company, and Markyard, a pioneering corporate gifting company and procurement company. And with this, देखो हिमांशु को लाने के लिए तालियां थोड़ी भारी बजाई करो.
So, Varun, before you go, thanks for the screen time. There will be a special gift for you now. But ये हटना नहीं चाहिए. है ना? जब panelist चल रहा होगा तो ये करना चाहिए.
पिछली कॉन्फ्रेंस में भी बोला था आज तक किसको मिला नहीं.
आपने सुना नहीं सर? That's fine, sir. So then you have to play and see, but then you will say, I don't have banners to see the video. I'm safe, I'm in a safe zone.
Authentic, not BBC.
Absolutely correct on that, sir. So, good afternoon, everyone.
I'm representing Matyaj, corporate gifting and procurement company. And let me first. So they're asking me to go out. Mera ho gaya. Bye. Oh, sorry. I have to use this. Much better. सच में सोचने में जा रहा हूँ इतनी जल्दी से नहीं जाऊँगा. Okay. So when we started Matyaj, just to say, basically it represents a gifting company where all of you would like to give gifts. Or if I ask you a question, do you like taking gifts? Yes. Anyone who says no, I don't like this. Amit sir.
Depends कौन बोल रहा है.
सबसे पहले, before we go further, can I have any of my colleagues here? Can I see anyone here or Sneha? भाई हमें सर गिफ्ट दो सबसे पहले. जल्दी आओ.
So guys, don't take me wrong. So the story is last time when we were in Bali, आंसू ने announcement किया बहुत बड़ा डॉक्टर पंद्रह जो मुझे टैग करेगा वो घर पहुंचेगा उससे पहले हेल्पर मिलेगा ये होगा. 3-4 लोगों ने मैंने देखा टैग किया और सबसे पूछा कुछ आया. Many things today, I couldn't believe it.
ये सर वो ना कहीं टोरू इसमें ना लाइन आइटम नीचे चली गई ज़्यादा. But you are a good friend. Thank you for the reminder. And when friends remind, तो कहाँ के मेरी टीम गिफ्ट नहीं देना क्या? गिफ्ट क्या नहीं है सर. क्या करें? Because I have gift here.
I will take it, Himanshu.
Yeah. What is to be done is done now. So here you go. Yeah. Are we on record again? This is not scripted. Right, Amit sir?
Right, absolutely.
So we say you like taking gifts, and everyone says yes. But do we really give gifts? So as an organization, what Matyaj is doing, every organization faces problem with the gifts. Now it can be the problem related to what you want to give, the choice, and do you want to customize. See, the easiest thing is, you just create something or you just buy something branded and give it. But when you customize, so I'll give you an example. Last week I was talking to Amit sir. He said, "This swags चाहिए." Now I'll say because that was kind of an interesting learning. Because जब आप कोई different चीज देना चाह रहे हैं, you want to print the name, you want to print a message, and you're giving to your core team. You're giving to your team members, you're giving to your clients, dealers, distributors, and they have some message in it. It makes a better feel. So as an organization, we understand and we have understood, I can say, that what kind of challenges when it comes to the selection of the gift, from the selection till you have to get it delivered. So as an organization, we are here to make sure that all your gifts are procured well as customized and delivered on time without hurdles. And the industry may have its own challenges, but then we are here to support. We have two different segments. One is corporate gifting and another is procurement. So in corporate gifting, we customize things for you and we work with many brands. Today, if you go to another hall, you will see a lot of branded items and non-branded items will be there. Plus, we work on procurement. We procure things for you. I will not get you cotton from Indonesia. We have not started that yet, but you never know. But you can procure things regularly from you as a company. So, if you have procurement, let's say you want green tea in your office or coffee in your office or different flavors of anything, we can procure and on a recurring basis, they are at your office. And then we make kits. Now, kits can be different. Now, let's say a lot of people are giving joining kits, offer kits. I don't know how many people are giving, let's say, rejection kits. Anyone here giving rejection kits? Anyone? So you can start giving rejection kits. उसका सबसे बड़ा benefit क्या होगा? Anyone? Rejection kits.
Might reconsider the offer.
Sorry?
Might reconsider the offer in future. he will become your brand ambassador.
Absolutely. Plus market को business मिलेगा. कुछ ना कुछ नई किट्स निकालनी पड़ेगी ना. तो joining kits के बाद आप offer kits ले सकते हैं. You can have joining kits. You can give offer kits. You can have festival. Now Diwali is not only the festival, but there are different festivals you have in the whole year. So whatever festival you would like to celebrate, it can be customized for you. You want to give something on birthdays, you want to give something on work anniversary, you want to give something on R&R. We can make different other, let's say newborn baby kits, kilo kits, technical kits. So a lot of kits we can customize as per the need. So two USPs I would like to bring to your knowledge what markets do is A, in Delhi NCR specifically and extended hand to Bombay, we have got bikers who deliver these gifts by hand and they will request selfie from your team members whom they are giving gift with the permission. And those selfies can be used in social media as a tool to showcase that as a company we are taking care of team members. Second thing, end-to-end. So whatever you want, markets can do it for you. We also extend a lot of extra concierge services as you ask for. So we believe in the word ask. Certain times things can be very, difficult to do because we see, things challenging at a certain times in this industry. But then we will make sure that how we can cover it up by giving additional hands, additional services as a concierge service to you, and things are done. So as a company, we are there to support in all kind of customization and non-customization. Now, before I leave, I would like 2 more points. You have a bag in your hand, right? Some of you. So, what is the weight of the bag right now, approx?
500 grams.
500 grams. So, if you want to make it to, let's say, approx 2 kg, you want to add additional 1.5 to it. Okay, मैं अपने में से नहीं दूंगा 21. बड़ी मुश्किल से कमाया है ये. It's not easy to do it. But if you go to another room, after lunch, after the second panel discussion, there are a lot of guests by Martech, CHROs, SPSU, MMU, Offer Decline, Cognify, and other brand, Great HR. They have kept takeaways plus the books, both the authors. And the best beauty is I have hijacked all of it. So आपको सब लेने के लिए मेरे पास ही आना पड़ेगा. All the gifts are under me. So आप आएंगे, we will have a conversation. My calendar is free next 2 weeks for tea and coffee. Once the calendar is booked, then I will hand over the gifts. Does this sound okay?
Yeah.
To everyone?
Don't say yes. Don't say yes.
What is this place then?
You become
टी कॉफी के ऑर्डर दिया गेस्ट करना सर नहीं टी कॉफी के कोई ऑर्डर नहीं सर वो मैं लिखवा लूंगा अपने आप
अंतर कुटे
oh I have to become center today okay I have to become center today so here is a gift with the due permission of the host our energetic host there are 2 mistakes in this presentation 2 spelling errors
This particular slide.
किसी को लग रहा होगा ये क्या presentation है 2 spelling mistake हैं so there are 2 spelling mistakes in presentation anyone can say one of them or 2 of them take a gift
I will say with it should be apostrophe.
so I'm sorry
It's apostrophe yes is missing there.
sorry
Apostrophe yes is missing.
बाद में कोई ये ना बोले कि चलो वो स्लाइड ही नहीं है
अरे
I okay so that's the one who said that I'm sorry yeah I is missing in the case so that's one
What is like
anyone one more yes
formatting error. Yeah.
Huh?
The bullets.
and it's spelling sir spelling आप ये जान ले सर spelling errors मुझे no format
There is no spelling error. There is no spelling error.
कैसा यार स्पेलिंग है कहाँ?
ऊपर है
ऊपर ही तो है यार.
ऊपर ही है I is missing.
I is missing sir
I
sir
There is no spelling error. अरे वाह अगला स्लाइड
So can I have both the, respected winners? Gift नहीं चाहिए वो इन लोगों को.
Actually, you are the winner because these are the new words you have
Very
invented.
That's a good friend. But can I have both the winners?
Come on, please, sir. Come on.
So let me invite HRSP founder Govind Pindi and one of my colleague. Can I invite Muskan to give the gift?
Very good. गिफ्ट के नाम पे देखो जैसे ही मांझू की गिफ्ट की बारी आती है कोई ना कोई चल नहीं जाता है.
तो किसी और को बुला लो. ओके. किसी और को मामा जी. विनर्स नहीं आ रही क्या? खुद नहीं लेके जाना उसका. बोलेंगे I'll finish with this, guys. Thank you for lovely support. I have grown all of my business networking, learning with relationships, and business always has ups and downs. But what we believe as a group is we should have more business shards. Whosoever wants to start business, we should support because business is something which will create a lot of good synergies, problems, learnings, and at the end of the day, earnings. But if we don't support in our country, the basic problem is the support. As Varun said, support is needed. So if we start supporting more each other in all good times, bad times, and the word business should happen, then the startups who are coming, they will grow more faster. So whomsoever you think around you, and there are a lot of sponsors we have today, it's my humble request, not only Matej, please go and meet, spare time, do handshaking with all the sponsors because they have spent time, energy to be here and make this event successful. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you so much. And when Manshu says that startups, delivery, all that ecosystem, we need support, and it is good to spare time to have a conversation with them. मेरे पास तो देखो माइक है तो मैं अपने बारे में तो बता ही दूँ, right? So what I do is I do corporate theatrical training, and I remove the walls from within the human, using theater as a team building aspect, using theater as a training tool, wherein knowledge based की जगह जब discovery based space available होता है लोगों के लिए, तो हम सारे team employee engagement activities करते हैं, yes no? Yes. Yes or no? Yes. So in that, the more people get discovered, हमने बात करी कि motivation क्यों नहीं होती, synergy नहीं होती ideas के बीच में और इन सब चीजों के बीच में. So how do we do it is, we make sure that to the activity space, when people do it, और जब वो उस space में करते हैं, अगर हमारे साथ कोई भी दुर्घटना होती है ना, तो फैमिली के बाद अगर कोई जिस बंदे को कॉल जाता है तो वो कौन होता है? एनीवन. अगर फैमिली के अलावा किसी दुर्घटना में आपके साथ कुछ भी बुरा हुआ है और आप किसी को कॉल करते हो तो वो किस तरीके का बंदा होगा? कोई दोस्त होगा, दुश्मन होगा? दोस्त होगा. किस तरीके का दोस्त होगा? जिसके सामने एक तरीके से बिल्कुल प्रोफेशनलिज्म तरीके से रह सकते हो या फिर किसी तरीके से रह सकते हो.
What is degree?
What is degree? Yeah.
Degree dost.
Degree dost. So will it be okay? हमें decide से degree dost is वो जिसके सामने आप vulnerable हो सकते हो. Yeah. So in these kind of workshops, we create vulnerable spaces where people can be vulnerable together. So जब हर कोई एक साथ vulnerable होता है, then the vulnerability element goes away and people start trusting each other. And with this, I would like to continue in a manner where we invite people to have that one thing जिससे हम सारे एक दूसरे से सीखते हैं. Anyone को क्या होती है वो चीज जिससे हम एक दूसरे से सीखते हैं? एक ऐसी चीज जिसके लिए हम यहाँ पे आए हैं. नेटवर्क तो है, नेटवर्क करते कैसे हैं? हाय हाय आई एम नेटवर्क, ऐसे तो नहीं करते। वाइज माइंडसेट कैसे एक्सप्रेस करते हो आप? कम्युनिकेशन, कम्युनिकेशन का जरिया क्या है? मतलब शेयरिंग कैसे करते हो? Conversation. Can we have a round of applause? Now we are moving towards panel discussion, where the today's topic on which we are doing the first panel discussion is environmental, social, and corporate governance. It is a framework designed to be embedded into an organization strategy that considers the need and ways in which to generate value for all the organizational stakeholders, such as employees, customs, and suppliers and financiers. Since 2020, there has been accelerating interest in overlaying ESG data with the Sustainable Development Goal. And few corporates have even initiated it into their operations. HRST brings to you a panel of business HR leaders and experts to talk about what ESG really means and everything that one needs to know about its execution. And now, panel discussion है तो panel को तो बुलाना पड़ेगा, right? Any guesses? कौन है panel discussion में? सिर्फ जो है वो मत बोलना. Okay. Anyone else?
It's right at the back.
Okay. So may I first invite Amit Kataria, CHRO, Benfi, and he's a global focus lies in the development of creative talent acquisition tactics to alleviate the global tech skill shortage of the present. He holds a master's degree in both computer science and human resources. He is now defending his PhD thesis in human resources. He is currently the Chief Human Resource Officer for the cloud-based company on the bionic journey, Benfi, if I'm pronouncing it right. Amit began his career as a renowned Motorola, and he has since led the human capital management function at Hanu, an enterprise of Fortune 500 company, Insight. Awarded Asia's top 100 HR power leaders, CHRO of the Year, and HR Excellence Award for 2021-2022. And here I welcome Amit. Can we have a big round of applause? Now I would like to call upon stage our next speaker, Mr. Pranay Prakash, CHRO, Bharti Game. He is the Chief Human Resource Officer and a key member of the leadership team at Bharti Game. With 17 years of experience in building organizations in various industries, he has developed a deep expertise in developing and deploying sustainable and scalable solutions. An XLRI alumni and a certified independent director, Pranay's data-backed decisions and interventions around employee well-being, work-life balance, diversity and inclusion, fair labor practices, and risk mitigation have enabled creation of long-term value for companies and their stakeholders. Can we have a huge round of applause? Now, the third speaker whom we have is Dr. Padmakali Banerjee. Can we have you on stage now? She is the Vice Chancellor and President of Sir Padmapat Singhania University. She is an astute academic administrator, a management professional, an institution builder, a leadership coach, an influencer, and a celebrated author of the book. उसका नाम बताओगे तो गिफ्ट मिलेगा. Can I have your name, please? Kalpana. So Kalpana के लिए जोरदार तालियां हो जाए. Straight from the University of Delhi, he has been featured in the most prestigious Outlook Spotlight magazine, India at 75, the change makers of modern India. As an inspirational leader and role model, some of her recent awards include Green Build Leadership Award from US Green Building Council for her contribution towards sustainability in 2018. An ambassador of the Green Plant Award in the E by 4EB India Summit 2023. Madam, kya nahi kiya hua? Can we have a Now the next speaker, if I may call upon stage, Mr. Rupesh Tripathi. He is the partner and head of people at KPMG Global Services. He has over 2 decades of experience in HR, encompassing a broad spectrum of areas, and has worked across a diverse range of industries. In his current role, Rupesh is responsible for the development and execution of KPMG Global Services People Priorities. Prior to KPMG, Rupesh has led HR for IHS Market, Accenture's India Domestic Business, and for Accenture Capability Networks India Note. He has also previously studied with firms such as Citibank, Bharti Retail, and Mercer. He began his career with Steel Authority of India Limited, a stint where he found his calling in people function. Wow, great man. Can we have a 2 round of applause for him? Now, the next speaker is Monica Mudgal. Can we have Monica Mudgal on stage, please? Senior VP and Head HR and Health. Monica is a postgraduate in Personal Management and Marketing Management from the University of Lucknow. People and relationship management comes naturally to her. इसलिए आप बड़े आदमी हैं. To her across, naturally to her across people of various ages and strata of society, while talent engagement and talent development continue to be her forte. Monica was a participant in KBC season 5. Wow. 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 Some of her achievements include 20 top most impactful HR leader awards received at CHRO Vision and Innovation Summit 2022, 100 HR Innovators India Award recipient at World HRE Congress 2018, and the 50 Most Outstanding Women in Healthcare Award received at World Health and Wellness Congress 2017. A huge round of applause for it. Now, the last speaker we have, can I call upon stage Mr. Ajay Podar, Chairman, Managing Director, and Co-founder, Synergy Environics Limited. He is the Chairman, MD, and Co-founder of Synergy Environics Limited, which is working toward enhancing the well-being of each individual and making their living and working space healthier, safer, and more productive by facilitating protection against the unseen threats that surround them, such as harmful electrosmog, geopathic stress, viruses, and other microbes, etc. His mission is to provide value and enhance the well-being of the customers and has been continuously motivating the organization to work towards impacting 10 crore lives by 2023. He is the chairman of ASEAN, ASEAN, Oceania, and East Asia Communities at PHDCCI and a founder member of Indian Green Building Council. And I, so, actually, I've had the honor of experiencing his work in the beginning before the starting of this, and I must say this is going to be a hell of a conversation. So, thank you all for gracing the stage, and with this, I would like to open the stage to you all. Thank you.
Hello?
Yeah.
Great. So I really want to start with again down, as Varun was saying, to have you all shout good morning, but I won't do that. I think it's enough for the day, is it? Or do you want me to do that? Yeah, it's just 15 minutes and they will say good afternoon. And our friend is here, Kapil. Great. It's a power section. I see most of my friends here. I know you from all the legacy you've been sharing in this fraternity. Very good brothers, sisters, friends. And we call, as we were discussing before, it's all relations, connects, networks you make. And the lifelong you carry it, how you carry it, is the essence of it. This is how you keep learning. This is how you keep building the trust in each of us. The community we were talking about is the base of it, that how we each other value presence of each other in our life. So that's how, but not going to that. Today's topic which we have chosen, or which my fellow panelists will talk about, is very, very important to the same aspect. The aspects of environment, social, and governance in what we do day to day. And since it's a HR community, most of our focus would be revolved around how HRs of the industry are focusing around it. I'm sure all of you know how ESG goes, what it defines, what it is not. But let me give you a very clear context. So at least we start with a common understanding on the platform, and then we move to a few of the queries and questions coming through that. So when we talk about ESG, it's a set of criteria which organizations choose to evaluate their performance on these three areas. And the areas are environment, social, and corporate governance. And when we talk about and elaborate more, there are many, many questions covered. But since the time is essence and we really want to cover more and a lot of it, I really want to go to Rupesh first. And I want to ask him, that how does he see the companies, the people, the practitioners are evolving it or making it as an integral part of the people and business practices within the organization. So let Rupesh answer it for us, and we will be glad to have his wisdom on this question.
Thank you, Amit. So first of all, glad that we picked this topic up. I think it's just extremely topical. And while many, there's a lot of effort that has been going in the space of trying to do something for the community, ESG kind of brings all of it together, right? And being a part of a big four, I've actually experienced ESG in my own role in two ways. One is that we are actually building a lot of capability to support our clients, right? So there's a whole thing of trying to get ESG practitioners hired and develop and train and figure out what are the best courses available out there so that we can upskill our people. So this whole work that is going on and really building a capability which our consultants can take to the clients in the space of ESG. But more than that, it is around building the ESG goals or priorities for the organization that I represent itself. Right? And the reason is, I think in the opening, Varun spoke about the stakeholders, right, for the organization, whether it is investors, customers, suppliers, and most important, people. And all of them are touched with whether a firm and an organization is ESG compliant or has ESG in the core or not. I was recently looking at a survey, at a study done by McKinsey, and they said that 70% of millennials and Gen Z today want to work for a firm which has ESG or social and environment as a part of their purpose. So that's the business case, right? And there's so much more, that organizations are benefiting out of just getting ESG as a driver. But the way to do it, and maybe I'll go through the process that we did when we were trying to create the ESG practice for ourselves. We decided about 6-9 months back or so that we would like, because of this business case that I spoke about, we would like to embed ESG in our culture, in our strategy, and started with a process of really looking out and seeing what's out there, what are the things that people are working on, what do impact reports of various organizations look like. We created a whole list of priorities that would be there, went through, co-created the shortlisted priorities along with a set of colleagues, with various leaders, business leaders. We got together, worked through multiple workshops, and then distilled what are the 5 pillars that we would like to invest on. There's lots that's happening. It's not that when we say 5 pillars, that it restricts there, but we clearly identified 5 pillars. 2 of them are towards environment, so there's a waste management, greenhouse gas emissions are the 2. 2 around people, which are IDE, the inclusion, diversity, and equity, and health and well-being of colleagues. And the 5th was social investment, the whole CSR piece. We said that these are the 5 pillars that we're going to focus on, invest in, created groups around them, and now we are in the process of really co-opting colleagues who are being part of these work streams. They are doing crowdsourcing. We are going out, and we will talk more about how we are bringing it to life. But just that process of now talking about it, having something which is right out there, which is a which is a goal that we are all chasing. Having a baseline from a measurement standpoint and having goals that we want to achieve in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, in itself is like a beacon that we are all behind. So that was a part of how we embarked on this journey.
Wonderful, Rupesh. Thanks again, showing the essence of it. And building on the same thoughts, as I repeatedly said, this is a session where most of us are on the journey. And it makes more sense us to cover that aspects. And the same line, I would ask Pranay, that within the organization, if you see the kind of functions that are handled from the talent management, the performance, talent engagement, whatever, how internally we as HR or the HR of the organizations are aligned to those ESG principles and what we are doing in terms of following those late practices and principles. Pranay can put some light on it.
Thanks, Amit. So there are a couple of things that I want to throw out there first. One, most of the ESG reports end up in a balance sheet of your financials, and people think that's the goal, right? That's actually the beginning point or the starting point for the next year or the subsequent year, right? On how do you want to enhance upon that, build upon that further. So it does not end with one financial reporting. It goes beyond that. That's where it starts for the next year. Second, Rupesh also mentioned, and I came across a report recently. By 2029, 72% of the global workforce is going to be comprising of millennials and Gen Z, right? Now, these are people who care about the environment, the social impact that they create, right? Much more than a lot of people in this room possibly, right? Or the earlier generations, right? To them, it makes a difference, right? And ESG has to be looked upon in a long run time frame, not something which gives you an immediate gain, right? So it has a potential to impact your top line, right? Reduction in costs or waste rather, right? Impacts gives you an immediate impact on your bottom line, right? If there are causes which are closer to people's hearts or your employees' hearts, right, or their choices, the retention has a direct impact on that, right? We all struggle with those kind of things, right? I mean, attrition going through the roofs and people changing jobs. But then there are millennials and Gen Zs that we talk about, and this is like from experience over the last few years, is that if they get something which is very close to their heart, apart from their work, so the quality of work and the quality of association, right? The communities that we associate with, right? So these are some of the things which can go right into your goal sheets, right? Every organization, when we build goals, we forget about some of these factors, right? But these are very, very measurable, tangible aspects which can get right into your goal sheets across levels in the organization, right? At a lower level, probably with a lesser importance, at a senior level, probably with a greater importance, right? But that is the kind of impact an ESG program involvement can have on organizations across the board. It is not industry specific, it is actually industry agnostic. It's a fallacy to think that, okay, this is for mining and this is for manufacturing because you are cutting out trees and you are excavating something from the nature. It's for every single organization. I mean, your office might be in a high rise in probably the best, maybe of One Horizon Center in Gurgaon, right up this road. But the kind of waste that you discharge, right, or the electricity usage, I've seen offices where there's one central switch and broad daylight, and every single power point is on, right? I mean, that is actually waste. The buildings are being designed in such a way, and I'm sure some of us will talk about that, gold standard and LEED standard and all of that, right? So these are some of the aspects which actually make a lot of difference to the workforce which is coming into our system or which will be coming up into our systems over the next decade, couple of decades actually, right? And to them, it makes a difference. The very fact that these measurable, tangible aspects can go as part of their goal sheets would mean that they are going to be more engaged than they are right now, right? People don't really now work for money only, right? There's some who have that motivation and that's okay, right? But a lot of them do worry about the community, the society. I think uh, MC was talking about that, right? What do you mean when you say community, right? Or why do you need a community? All of us are individual achievers or performers or contributors, right? Those contributions have come by way of us being part of some community or the other, right? Our friends, our families, the schools we went to, the colleges we went to, the mentors we had, the organizations we have been through. All these are communities, right, in their own way. And all of these have contributed to why we are here or how we have reached here, right? That's the same impact that a Gen Z or a millennial workforce would think about, probably in a greater depth than what we have done, right?
Wow, great. Thanks, Pranay. Very beautiful insights. I see when you see audience started leaving the room and kind of most of them are either on phones, seminars needs to be a little picked up. So sorry for the boldness. We will evolve. We are not as charismatic as Varun, but yeah, it will pick up because see the stellar panel. But as an opener pointed out, when candidate or your employee leave, right? It's not always about money. It's not just one factor. But being an HR practitioner from almost 20 years, I've not seen anybody coming to us in probably exit interviews or when we talk about your ESG score is low. I don't find it low. That's the reason I'm. Have you ever thought about this? And that's, I think, we want to address here. When you make that the matrices of ESG so important that it's sustainable value in individuals' mindset. Only then this landscape will change, right? We as HR, we are the industries who have to inculcate those practices, those KPIs into the system, into the mindset or mind space of the people working with us. And on the same lines, I would request Mr. Ajay Kodar to give us some lights on what are the few KPI and matrices the organizations are undertaking or practicing so as they know how the ESG is going and what's the mission. Over to you, Mr. Kodar.
Thank you, Amit. I think while we all like to talk about what should be the ideal, but I think the gap which employees see is the gap between what organizations say or what is their mission, what is their vision, and what do they actually do. So I think one of the things before you want to make a KPI of a person is that you have to understand what that person really wants. When I talk to a lot of people, I said, "Aap क्या बनना चाहते, क्या करना चाहते?" जी हम 5 साल में जनरल मैनेजर बनना चाहते हैं, हम इतना कमा रहे हैं, इतना कमाने चाहते हैं। शायद ही कोई ये बोलता है कि मैं बेस्ट इंजीनियर बनना चाहता हूँ या मैं आई वांट टू बी द बेस्ट मैनेजर. So that is, if you make an organization goal and you try to make that person's KPI and he's not personally identified with that. So I think a very important thing is that the HR, when we are recruiting people, when we are actually hiring people, because otherwise KPI will be a piece of paper. When we are hiring people, recruiting people, you have to see that are we reflecting the values that we are talking about, and is the person aligned with that? Because if the person is not aligned with that, you're not going to go. So then KPIs should be co-created with what the person wants to do and what the organization wants to do. And there has to be, it's not that it's made as a sheet of paper and handed over to everybody. One size doesn't fit all. I think the KPIs should have some general guidelines on what is what. And also you was asking about the timing thing or not?
Yeah, we'll cover that. Sure. Yeah, okay, great. But then again, very great insights. So I know most of you would be having that few indicators in your mind that how does it go? Even if as a HR, you want to practice that or you want to kind of introduce the same ESG principles in your organization. How would you do that? And coming to that, I see this whole process of implementing ESG principles or maybe setting that benchmark is a continuous process. Usually, Dr. Padmakali is the first one to speak because she comes with lots of wisdom. And that's the reason I kept her for the most powerful, for the kind of aspects we wanted to cover on ESG. That how do you see it evolving? Where it's going from next 5 to 10 years, and how it's going to impact. And so, for this powerful question, there is nobody better than Dr. Padmakali to answer for us. To Ovi.
Thank you, Amit, for those wonderful lines. And that has created the momentum that we wanted to create. First of all, let me tell you that I can feel so much of energy around, and HR, you always feel very safe. So I think that's something wonderful about this whole community. And I definitely want to put on record, I think that one day when I met Govind a couple of months back, almost nearly a year back, and the journey started. So I think coming to the very important point on ESG, I just wanted to put on record that if you look at the millennial goals came in 2000, right? And we were talking about poverty, hunger, eradication of that. And then we talked about the importance of education. And then, back 2015, what happened? You had the SDGs coming in, right? The Sustainable Development Goals, and you have the 17 areas. Look at the way the world is changing. Like what is happening, each of these goals that are being set out is the need of the hour. So when I talk about, typically if you look at the ESG, I specifically would like to point out on ESD for ESG. What is that? Education for Sustainable Development for a better ESG scorecard. So if we just take you back a couple of years, how corporate were behaving, because, with this community, I worked all my life because apart from academics, connecting with the corporate, whether be it a leadership coach or a trainer in the early years, I'll tell you that pre-COVID, a lot of priorities were different. So if you look at the G part of ESG, corporate governance, now you know that handling crisis is also going to become very, very critical. And that is also what you need to record. So now organizations, the part of the corporate governance, has to take care of the uncertainties. You know very clearly how these, people on a notice of 2 days have been asked to leave the organization. I think who is going to be responsible for that? A lot of young, engineers moving out of India with a dream in their eyes and reaching the Silicon Valley, say on the Thursday evening, having a great weekend, and Monday morning they were given a letter to return back. So these are some of the big stories. In COVID, you also realize that we are in a very interconnected world. That whatever happens in one part of the world, whether it is Iraq or whether it is any other place, it is going to impact everything. We have the big example of climate change in that. So I think 10 years, what we are looking at, it's very difficult because Steve Jobs always said, when you can connect the dots when you look back. But to look in front, we need to understand the present. So what is happening today, especially if you look at in India, there are slowly the way we are moving ahead in digitalization. So we are becoming the hub of the digital knowledge within India. You're creating new knowledge. So the what aspect of things that we are going to see is that people first, people always. So if you look at the social aspect of ESG, where you have to see it's not just employee welfare program or a small healthcare coupon, but it is related to even competency development. The new competencies that need to be brought in, that becomes the part of the social part of the ESG. And finally, of course, my co-panelists have already mentioned about the environmental factors. So 10 years down the line, we see, of course, the possibility of India shining with much more disclosures that corporate have to do. We look at how individuals become part of the game, and where every individual in the corporate matters. In a higher education setup, we say every faculty member has to publish. So per faculty calculations are done. Similarly, in the corporate, we need to take about, every individual need to come up. So that's a very important role for an HR. You don't need a bell-shaped curve. you need a skewed curve where you can bring up people to move there. And that is going to be a very interesting journey. So 10 years down the line, we see the entire geopolitics changing. 10 years down the line, wars have to stop. 10 years down the line, we need to have conversation like our illustrious, Prime Minister taking up big strides with the, international. Very recently, you saw the, TB about a couple of years back, the Prime Minister said the TB needs to stop and India will be eradicated, and we are right there. So I think when we look at future, we need to look at the present, and there are going to be important milestones that we cover. We are going to see a world definitely technology enabled, but we also need to technology detox, like another of my illustrious, panelists mentioned. So we see a very, of course, VUCA is a word that has become a favorite of every HR personality. But at the same time, we need to create the VUCA too in terms of having more person in it. And if you look at the, the book which we are talking about, the Marketing 5.0, so we are looking at the human aspect of even technology. So that is something that I leave each one of you with, that what are the things that we can do? We can make a change by touch, team, and transform. So every individual has to be touched within the organization to have a good ESG scorecard. Thank you.
Very well said, Dr. Makari. So insightful. And great analogy from ESG to ESG. And I'm sure Rajni's got a name for his next book. Because I saw his reaction then on. He said, hey, yeah, Dimag ka patti hai. They were great, given that it's wonderful cancellation of thoughts. But then, we were talking about money, and money is really, really precious to me. I love it. But most of the times, since we deal with it, candidate can speak, but there may be salary, so that is very, very essential part. Money brings that value in that whole decision making, which makes you inclined here or there, right? Even if you say, okay, I'm leaving job for my boss, work, this and that. But one of the consideration, of course, is paramount, which is money. And in ESG also, when you see, it's a very, very crucial part of it. How? There are two aspects. One, the ESG considerations, and the second, the investors, right? So, and it impacts both ways. How they each other impacts the overall considerations of ESG. So I will have Monica to give some light on us that how ESG considerations impact the investment decisions, and secondly, how the investors impact or influence ESG considerations. So Monica, if you could put some more light on it, that would be great.
I just want to put a disclaimer here, I'm not an investor. Okay. And I'm not even an angel investor. In fact, I'm quite risk averse, so I'll never probably invest anywhere. Having said that, I've been on the other side of the fence, which is facing the investor. We work with a startup, and this is perhaps my third startup. And dealing with investors has become part of my job now. It's almost like that. So I'll ask a quick question. I see people drooping off, so I don't want that. When you want to invest somewhere, unlike me, others are here who want to invest somewhere, what is it that you look for in return for that investment? Why would you invest?
Yeah.
Anyone get it? Multiply profit. To multiply profit, okay. Secure your future. To secure your absolutely to secure your future. What else could it be it?
To prevent theft or loss of money.
Theft or loss of money. So actually, I don't need to be a speaker. The answers are resting here only. I'm just awakening you all to the fact that what is our investor looking at? They're looking at exactly the same things. They want to double their money, triple their money. They were looking at loss of money to be curtailed. They're looking at security. They're looking at sustenance. And how are they going to get all this?
Madam, rates by ED also.
Okay. So, but where do you think the investor is going to get all this? Actually, the investor's job has become pretty easy. Earlier, he was probably looking only at, customer talks or the balance sheet of the organization. Now he has something even better, a very, very strong metric which he's looking at, which is ESG, which kind of puts together anything that an investor would look for. Look for whether you're environmentally strong as an organization. Are you doing something to give back to the environment? Not rubbish, but something good. Are you really strong on your corporate governance? Are you really, really strong there? Because the money is protected if your governance is very strong. And obviously, the social aspects of it, because it could be various things. CSR is just a fad, according to me, my personal opinion. People don't really do it. You have to get them to do it. And for that, a lot of education is required, a lot of carrot and stick is required. And I think the investors are looking at exactly that. Is this a sustainable organization? And the ESG metrics will prove that. Because they'll help you reduce your costs, they'll help you secure your money, they'll give you the top line and the bottom line that you're looking for. And at the same time, you're an environmentally strong organization. That's socially strong.
Wow, yeah, Monica, thank you. So now you know if you have surplus of money, where to land it. One answer is one. And of course, no, if something remains, I'm always there. But very well captured, Monica. Thank you very much. And on the same line, Vibha gave me very strict deadlines that this is the minutes we have. And I think we are almost like 5 minutes. Vibha, what is the time left for us? Okay, she will come back. But then coming back to it, and I keep repeating it, this whole satire we set for, most of us are from HR and from that vertical itself. And in that ecosystem, employees are very crucial. Right? So when we talk about ESG politically, unless you don't have involvement of your workforce, employees, it doesn't make any sense at all. So then I go back again to Rupesh and asking him, how does he feel that we can involve as a practitioners of ESG, our workforce, and align ESG to the value system we have created with the organization? So Rupesh, over to you.
Thanks. And slightly moving from the conversation we had till now, it was largely focused around matrix, right? We're saying that there's a way KPIs that need to be measured, and all of them are super important. But I still see them as hardware of what you're trying to do. The software really is the culture, right? Unless you create a culture where people really care about it, people are going to go and do it because you're asking them to do it. It's their goals. You have something that's being measured. You have ways to capture and measure, etc., etc. But if you really want your colleagues to feel that organization is doing something around it and they really are behind the agenda, it needs to get embedded into the culture. And that's where I guess all of the HR leaders sitting here come in. Because while so what are the ways in which you create a culture? Right? There's a way in which basically top down, you walk the talk, which is where we and through our influence, the rest of the leadership of the organization could do it. Second is really telling stories. Right? That's a great way of really talking about any agenda and anything that needs to be embedded into culture. I'll give you an example. We have this one colleague who's actually part of our CSR team. Right? He works a lot with our NGOs. And he once told this story, and there's something we obviously went out and told to all our colleagues. He joined us, he was working in one particular office, and then we were building this big campus in Bangalore. And when that got done, people got transferred there. And when he reached there, he actually he broke down and started crying. And somebody asked him what happened. And he said that many years back, my father used to be a daily laborer in this exact building. He was actually helping create that building. And there were times when he used to come and help him because obviously, his father was old and he was asked to do really hard work. And he said, whenever I was done with my school or my initial part of my college, I would come and help him. And today I'm walking in here as an employee and being welcomed with, when new employees come in a new facility, there's gardens and there is Aarti and all of that, and that's happening to me. So he recounted a story, and the best part is now his sister as well is a consultant with us. And so both of them worked with us, and one particular day he actually got his father to that office and told him, and that's his father, that was the best of his life. We talked about that, right? And now he says that I'm giving it back by working with the CSR team of our team and working with the NGOs. So that's an example. So that's second bit, right? How do we really cull out these stories and talk to the colleagues? And third is getting them to be part of the whole journey. So again, rather than telling them this is what needs to be done, getting them to co-create the agenda. So whether you crowdsource the ideas, whether you get them to be a part of the work streams, you get them to to execute on stuff. That's the third way. And then there's a whole bunch of communication that goes behind it, and the campaigns that you run. You talk about what you want them to do. You can really create a win by taking this whole piece from workplace to their homes and their communities. So if an employee says that, oh, guess what? My office no longer uses single-use plastic bottles. All the conference rooms now has glass bottles and glasses. We should stop doing it at home, right? We should start getting these PET bottles, and why can't we have our water sitting in in bottles? So when they actually take it back and really evangelize what we are trying to do in an organization in their community, that's really create that ripple effect, and you're really doing something for the world and not just doing a check mark.
Oh, what a moving story. It does seem, I personally felt it many times, the kind of reception you get from the resonance you get from the past or the future or the present, and how you make feel is the most important part of any principle and practices or the experience you build out. We call it, we are working in principles called Harmony Index in one of the organizations my friends work. But keeping that aside, I see a lot of things which we do in a daily life, and particularly ESG, people have their own misconceptions. So people think, okay, this is right, this is not. And there are myths which we feel as on the face value they are right or not. So I thought that let's discuss that for a while and see. I have to request Pranay to discuss and give us more insights that what usually are common misconceptions when we talk about ESG principles, and how do we mitigate that? Over to you.
Thanks, Amit. So a couple of things here. One that came up in the discussion already, I guess, is that the ESG part primarily is specific to industries like mining, manufacturing, where you use dyes, you cut off forests, you excavate and all that. That's totally a myth. ESG is for everybody, right? Every organization has that responsibility because you are consuming something from the nature, and hence it is our duty to preserve that, conserve that, right? Second myth I come across very frequently is that it's for the large organizations, the Tatas, the Mahindras, the Reliances of the world. They have large sustainable goals and they produce their results. I'm a 200 people organization. Why should I worry? I operate in a small office, and that's about it. I'm not consuming anything. I'm not giving anything back. That's not actually how it works, right? Every organization, also even small or big that you are, right? There's a responsibility that you owe to the society, to the community that you operate within, right? Third thing I think Monica mentioned, and I'll just want to build up on that, investments, the way investors look at it. ESG, typically people think ESG programs or assets under management do not see a lot of investment come in. Data says otherwise. In 2015, the ESG AUM, which is assets under management, was roughly about $6 billion. It is globally, obviously. By 2020, it grew up to $150 billion. Right? So there's a huge amount of money and investor interest coming into that area also, right? From the programs that organizations run to new startups which are coming into that space, right? Everything put together. And then I think two more quick points here. One, people think ESG and CSR are synonymous, right? We do a campaign, we plant some 100 trees, and that's it, right? CSR is not something which is an event-based activity, right? Your CSR initiatives also have to be sustainable, right? What happened to those plants, right? And why did it come to a stage where you have to think of planting trees? CSR at best, as a forum, as a platform, as a program, is a means to achieve the ESG goals. That's not the goal by itself, right? And the last point on the governance side, generally people feel that it's for the board to look at, It's for the senior leadership to look at. Why should I be bothered about governance? Nothing but contrary to this is the truth, right? Governance starts, I mean, look at the federal structure that we have, look at the political structure that we have in this country or any other country which does not have anarchy, right? Governance starts with you and I going to a polling station and casting our ballot. And then you go up the ladder and, kind of elect your MPs and prime minister and so on and so forth. That's exactly how it has to be within organizations also, right? It's not my duty or the people sitting in this room or on this stage only to, ensure that governance is in place or there are tight standards of governance. And it is not only about, whether your books are being audited or how they are being audited or how well they are being audited. If somebody is spending maybe a lakh rupee on some program and there was a certain return expected from it and the return did not happen, when everybody has the right to go and question that. I mean, that's how we do at my organization. It's right. I mean, there's somebody who goes to a college campus, runs a 25 lakh program, they come back and I ask them, and that's a separate team altogether. They have their budgets, they're not exceeding that. But I ask them, boss, what did you get out of this? Right? Did you create the ecosystem? Did you make the ecosystem better? Right? So these are smaller examples of governance also where every employee has to, every team member has to contribute in their own small or big way. It's not for the people at the top only to look at it. Obviously, by way of seniority or by way of their experience, they have larger responsibilities and more focused goals. But these are some of the things that I hear very frequently, and I don't do any of them.
Thank you, Pranay. I was saying, like somebody was about to clap. But very well said. No, these are the things which I could hear all day because the wisdom it carries. And as Pranay mentioned, planting a tree, I think, is the greatest thing. And so, as a judge, if you go to any universities and programs, they make you plant one tree. And by virtue, I see that like as you saw, Genghis Khan has these genes across the world. I probably have planted trees in all universities. Okay, so I haven't got the job. That's fine. So that's how it is. It goes, but not only planting, going back and seeing that how they are growing is very, very essential. And same with the ESG. I check on my trees which planted long back, but they're still, same with the ESG. Are they producing results or not? But unfortunately, we are out of time. Vibha and Varun giving me looks. I will stop myself. But then before we go, there were questions you might have been having in mind to ask. But I just will take another 3 minutes, and I want to give the opportunity to my fellow panelists to conclude their views in 30 seconds. So we know the wisdom they carry, the research that is on this topic is taken in the essence. So now I would start with Dr. Padma to summarize her thoughts on this discussion, and then we'll take it from there. Dr. Padma.
Thank you. So I think a lot of things have been discussed. So I just want to leave you with the thought that every organization today has to be a learning organization. We have believed in it. And if each one of you sitting in the hall want to make a difference, and people out there on the live want to make a difference, people from the corporate, how many of you in the 365 days spend at least one day in a K-12 school or a higher learning institution? So if you really want the world to change, if you really want India to change, if you really want your people in the corporate to change, you need to be at the core of where you can make a difference. So I think shaping lives of the youth of our country, of which we are very proud of when we are quoting the statistics that India is the young nation. But look at that, what are we doing individually and collectively within the organizations to make that happen? And if we do that, if you're able to change the E of the ESG, that is making a mindset change. Like we very happily talk about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Can we also create Atmanirbhar institutions where and collectively collaborate? Because I think today is a great example of synergy and collaboration. Come out with certain roadmap, have the best practices shared. So let's create a league of institutions who have similar values towards environment. We have similar values towards the social way, how you can impact lives of the masses around you. And finally, your other goal sheet will come in front of you in terms of governance, where that is where you're going to measure, that is where you can get investment. So in my words, I would like to say this is a journey where we all need to understand. Two more lines I want to add, that prompting and repetition. Prompting is when you're a coach to your subordinate. Repetition, when you talk about it constantly. If I have to talk about my university, Sarkar Dampat Singhania University, I say there is a legacy which believes in affordable education, creating students, employable from day one. This is the thought that I want to leave you with. Thank you.
Wonderful. So anyone of you who is starting to do it, please choose your coach as your half of this is going to be there. Right. So quick 30 seconds to Rupesh, how you want to see and then slide it.
Instead of summarizing, I would like to appeal to this group, right? All of you come from the space of HR. One takeaway you can take from today, at least from my conversation, has been that you can make it happen for your firm. You don't have to sit and wait for your CEO, for your CFO, for your chief risk officer to come and do. Design it, craft it, learn more if you don't know yet more about ESG. It is all about colleagues. It's all about your current employees and future employees, your candidates. All of them are looking at you and your firm and how much are you doing that space. So just take the first step and put ESG in the heart of it.
Wonderful, Rupesh. Thank you very much. Quick 30 seconds to you, Monica.
I would say, more than like summary, I would give a few tips around how it's typically a transformation journey. You have to start somewhere and you have to have childlike enthusiasm for it. If you don't have it, get somebody who has it, who can run the program like anything. With a lot of passion, with a lot of drive, get people together with that person and drive it like nobody's business. Like he said, Varun said, no, laugh with your heart full. So do the program with your heart full. If you can't do it, no point doing it. If you don't walk the talk, nobody else will. So as a leader, you have to walk the talk. If you're driving the agenda, then do it till say. Not just say it, but do it till say.
Very right, Monica. Thank you very much. And over to you, Mr. Ajipadar, for your 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to say that we have to in ESG look for what is invisible. Like Chanakya said, Agyat Shatru se bacho. So what we deal with are invisible emissions, which come from the ground, which come from your digital devices. So part of ESG, which we help organizations to fulfill, is environmental well-being, digital well-being, and personal well-being. So the social part of it. And other one, which I want to leave you with is that what gets measured gets improved. So when we talk about objectives, we have to put measures, which we also put in our ESG objective, but we must have a very robust system. And like Pranay mentioned, that it doesn't have to start with large organization. We started our ERSR compliance and our SDG compliance when we were an 11 crore company. So it may be mandated for 1,000 crore, but you have to walk the talk and you have to start at home. So start your own journeys in whatever small way in your own organizations and don't wait for other people to tell you. You have enough examples of what you want to do and live your passion and live your mission. That is part of your life.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, sir. Last but not the least, our friend Pradeep for his quick 30-second summary.
All right. I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but last two messages, ESG is not important, it is the necessity. So please understand that, right? Don't do it because it is about complying with something or it is important and everybody is doing or it's a fad and anything, but it is a necessity. We know of islands which are going underwater in a few years from now, right? So that is one. And the second part is that ESG for all of us is still so nascent that we might have PhDs and MBAs and whatnot, but we are still in kindergarten. So keep exploring, keep measuring. Right?
Okay, wonderful. That's great. So I think Ambaran is already understands. we take our time off. Thank you very much. It's been a beautiful audience, and I hope you got the notes, you got wisdom points from the discussion, and anything you want to reach out, please consider it. You could put your questions around, ask, and our host is there. And I'm ending this session with a huge round of applause from you to the panelists.
So, first of all, thank you so much, panelists. It was really was a wisdom, and not only wisdom but action. So, I have taken my notes, and I could see many people were taking the notes. So now is the time. We have few minutes for questions and answers. Anyone who would like to ask any question to the panelists? Yes, please, Isha.
The only request would be please name the person you want to ask it, so at least becomes easy for people.
Sure. So my question is to Pranay. So you mentioned that these days not just startup villas but smaller organizations like a 200, 150 employees organization is also focused on or should be focused on ESG. But my question is how to tackle with the conflict between the financial objective and the ESG objective. So you can say a short-term financial objective and a long-term ESG objective.
ESG objectives will never be short term. You will not be able to achieve anything if you are looking at ESG in the short term. ESG always has to be a long-term initiative, sustained initiative, right? When we say ESG, the S, which is social here, is also sustainable, right? Sustainable means, by virtue of the word, it means in the long run. So you'll have to tie it up to the long run financial objectives of the organization. If you are able to marry the two, you'll get fantastic results.
Thank you, Pranay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Any other question? Yes, please. We have. Go ahead, sir. Wait. That's up.
So, there's ESG one of the latest buzzword, and there's a lot of focus of government as well as investors on ESG. And then we have CSR also, we touched upon CSR also, and these two categories have that's in common with social, and both of these also work for the community. Now, do you think that ESG is somehow overtaking the CSR initiatives, or do you think in future both will become one?
Both will not become one, and it is not predating into each other. CSR, as I said earlier, also is a means could become a means to achieve your ESG objectives, right? CSR, the example that we took, like planting one tree and then forgetting about it, and then planting another next year without knowing what happened to the last tree, right? ESG initiatives are sustainable, long term, and important, not because they are buzzwords or not because they are facts in the current time, right? You'll see, and if you're doing CSR in any shape or form, you can pick up actually those programs which marry with your ESG objectives also, right? And then both can run parallelly. You don't have to invest anything extra on ESG then. Your CSR budget qualifies for that, right? And keep in mind the community part, the social impact part that you make, right? Fair labor relations, something as simple as that is the social aspect of ESG.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and next, not for Pune, please. I know it's in demand.
I have a question for Monica. I ask you. So, Monica, you said people first, people always. And when we talk about organization, sorry, yeah, you said that. Yes, please. Yes. Sorry. Oh my God. So, now when you said that, एक सवाल बहुत जो मेरे को दिखता है कि जहाँ पे होता है 9 से 6 का टाइमिंग है, राइट, वर्क का, और वो 6 बज के कब 11 बज जाते हैं वो पता भी नहीं चलता, और वहां पे पर्सनल लाइफ इम्पैक्ट होती है. मतलब मैं अपने घर में देखता हूँ, my brother works in a corporate, so I see that day in day out, and then companies call out and say that we care for our employees. Where does this specifically in Big Four also, like, this is something, so one after other, I will have 2 questions for that. How do we manage that? And we are talking about walking the talk here. कैसे होगा वो financial goal, deadlines भी हैं, clients भी हैं, and we have to put employees well-being also. How to make a balance in that?
Well, I think that's a great question, but doesn't have a very clear-cut answer. But I'll try to answer you. that we have been talking about now ages, especially in the HR community, work-life balance, holiday packages, many other things. But what I understand, if you look at the COVID times, 2 years you were working from home, right? There were still challenges. Right? In spite of being at home, you were not able to provide quality time because of a lot of things that we know. There were different kinds of crises. What I understand is definitely time management, that while organizations can create goals, today we are moving away from supervision, because if we talk about the factory system and the way the initial manufacturing was taking place even before the Fordism came in and the block assembly, we have moved from there. So there is still some alienation happening in organizations, right? So what we really need to do is have an inclusive culture where you can have also listen to the requirements of people. Like a young mother, you're able to provide more flexibility. To a person who is having an aged family parent at home, you understand. So you're becoming less judgmental and creating an environment within the organization, and take the help of technology. Today, technology is a great enabler. It is also creating a level playing ground for people. If you know how to give good output, you can be measured, like somebody said. Like technology can also measure your output. So I see that like a process. Some few years back, we were talking about future of work. We are already now at the future of work. We are seeing so many job roles changing. So slowly, this is a part of life that wherever human being is there, you will have these adjustments. So people will be first, because without people, we will not be able to take decisions in organization. In spite of the fact that AI, ML is there, what is behind the AI? There's so much of research now going on in the whole area of AI. So I think that's what I wanted to say when I say people first. And the answer for it is forget the 9 to 5. It's the real time now for everything. Thank you.
Pranay, yes. Just last question in which.
Okay. Yeah. I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What he said, why do we look at things negatively, and we generally speak or write against the employers, against the organizations, and mostly in favor of fee, and we are more tied to the employee. That's good. Like in this context, why can't we look at it positively that the employee working up to 11 is actually taking care of his organization? Look at it positively. And why to look at that, say that the organization is not taking care of him, 9 to 6 or something like that. But in this case, it can be that the employee is taking care of the organization. Create an environment culture where the employee feels that he is taking care of the organization. The other way around, and very positive.
Yeah. So if that is the question, my only thought is there is something called a first date. That if somebody comes into your office and there is no mechanism of hearing him out, it causes more, stress among the employees. I think emotional first aid is something which is very important in organizations to handle the problems so that it doesn't become big. So solving it at the time. So if not anything, there needs to be a ventilation of the problems that they have to share, whether it is an email that comes at an odd hour, one reply on the email matters a lot. So I think that is one that we can do through that.
And yeah, thank you. And just taking from there and putting the last question in the house to Pranay first, I see a lot of hands. Just if I can conclude that question, taking on cue from you, we are talking about personal life infringement of professional life, and professional life take that infringement into it. And if it is happening happily by the employees, that I want to work till 11 or 12, that's another issue. But a lot of times when it becomes the cut of the mill, it's every day, then it takes a lot of toll. So shall we also encourage that? I have heard somewhere in some countries that after 6 or after whatever cutoff time, you are legally and in all the rights that you shall not respond. And some companies have even put in on record that if you reply after this or if you engage in work after this, you will be fined. So as to build a compatible environment between professional and personal. What do you have to say on that?
Maybe taking the cue from the last conversation that we were having. So clearly, I think there is this element of, are you getting people to work just because they have to work, to moving from, this is a place where I love to come and work, right? And I know that there will be good days and there will be bad days. That's a reality of the business. Now, Big Four, for example, there are few months when they end up working really long because that's that audit this period. But then there are times when there's like 4-hour work thing, and people know that. So we are being very open and honest and transparent about it. But providing flexibility, making sure that when they need that time, they have it, ensuring that they are engaged, and hence a lot of this effort is actually discretionary effort. So it all boils down to, our employees feeling that this is a place where I come, be my best. If I have an issue, I have psychological safety to raise it, come and talk about it, rather than saying I have to come sit here till 5, even if I don't work anything because I don't feel like working for this organization, I'm going to go back. 2, saying I will come, I'll give my best, and then I'm going to go. And my firm will give me the flexibility to, when I need time off, and we have like vacation for taking care of people. Even if, let's say, a lot of these PGs where now kids live in, right? So we have a policy of primary caregiver, even if your roommate is sick and you need time to take care of that person because there is nobody else, you can take time off. That's an example.
Wow, thank you so much. And I know there are a lot of questions, but I will have to conclude here. And you can take all the questions when we for lunch. And thank you so much, panelists. Can we have a huge round of applause for them? So now, it's a time where we are actually going to have some stretching. Who needs the stretching?
Everyone.
Everyone? Yeah, मतलब everyone का हाथ भी तो करो ना. Who needs the stretching? चलो. So I'm going to engage in some games. ठीक है? And of course games का नाम लेते हैं तो हम बातें आज तो नहीं भूल सकते. हिमांशु आज वो गिफ्ट मेरे हाथ में देके गया है. So I promise you that you won't have a complaint like ours. So now, for the game, what I need is, it is not going to be one way. It is going to be involved. So, क्या सारे के सारे एक बार खड़े हो सकते हैं? Please stand up. So it's a very simple activity, which may sound a bit funny, but in spite of that, I will ask you to do that. एक से आठ तक गिनती आती है सबको? Yes. Okay. एक से आठ तक गिनती आती है सबको? Yes. चल, बड़ी बात आती है. Okay, एक बार बोलेंगे एक साथ, हिंदी में बोलना है, ठीक है? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. थोड़ा सा और लेंगे. हमने बहुत देर सुना है, देखो तो खड़े होके थोड़ा बोलना भी चाहिए ना. एक बार दोबारा बढ़िया से बोलेंगे, ठीक है? हिंदी में ही बोलेंगे 1 से 8 तक. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. और हाथ के साथ, ठीक है? हाथ के साथ कैसे करेंगे? तो अब मैं रख रहा हूँ माइक थोड़ी देर के लिए, क्योंकि मेरे को भी तो करके दिखानी पड़ेगी करना क्या है. So what we are going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you do along with me? 1, 2, 3. बोलना भी है. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. Okay.
Yes.
What's your name? Kritika.
I'm a guest to Dr. Padman.
अरे बहुत ही बढ़िया. Okay. एक साथ. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. एक साथ. तो हम क्या करेंगे? क्या करेंगे? तो 8 के बाद 6, 6 के बाद 4, 4 के बाद 2, और लास्ट में हम सारे के सारे HR कम्युनिटी से ज्यादा है, तो लास्ट में बोलेंगे HR. क्या बोलेंगे? हाथ ऊपर करेंगे. क्या बोलेंगे? चार, एक साथ बोल रहे हैं 1 2 3 क्या बोलेंगे? ठीक है, तो 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5 6 6 4 4 4 4 2 2 2 कोई बात नहीं, ऐसे चेकआउट क्यों कर रहे हैं आपको? हाँ, चलो 1 2 सबकी आवाज एक साथ आएगी, ठीक है 1 2 3 गो 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 4 5 देखो दीदी बोल रहे हैं कि लेट हो रहा है, हमें लंच करना है, लेकिन लंच से पहले हम 2 मिनट दे सकते हैं। ओके, so now what we are going to do is, सबसे प्यारा नाम किसका है इस कमरे में? अमित। ठीक है, तो अमित सबसे प्यारा नाम, तो अमित को क्या करेंगे? हवा में फेंकेंगे। तो अमित को हवा में फेंकने, कैसे फेंकने? नाम से फेंकेंगे, आपको नहीं फेंकना, ठीक है? तो क्या करेंगे? जैवलिन, पता है क्या होती है जैवलिन? क्या होती है? जैवलिन थ्रो, राइट? सारे के सारे जैवलिन वाली पोजीशन में आ जाएंगी। राइट लेग बैक, हल्की सी बेंड, लेफ्ट लेग फॉरवर्ड, हाथ पूरे ऐसे, बैठना नहीं है ना, ऐसे Okay, so what we do is go in there. अमित को फेंकना है लंबे से लंबा, लंबा बिल्कुल लंबा, जितना लंबा अमित बोल सकते हैं सारे बोलेंगे, जैसे कि 1 2 3 एक साथ एक साथ सोचो कि अमित को यहाँ पर बिल्कुल यहाँ पे आके मुझे बोल रहे हैं आगे 2 3 लास्ट के अच्छे तक, ठीक है? हम क्या कर रहे हैं? 3 मिनट देखिए, बहुत में समय देखिए, लगभग जनरेटर कैसे चलता है। एक दूसरे के ग्रुप में हो जाओ, सारे एक दूसरे को देखो, जनरेटर चलाते हैं, ठीक है? जनरेटर चलाते हो, ये बोलना है आवाज कोई नहीं बोलेगा, सब कोई नहीं निकलेगा, सारे कैसे बोलेंगे? एक बार चला के दिखाना। गोविंद तुम लोग याद नहीं करते, चलो भाई में हाथ आगे बढ़ियो, ठीक है? ना Can we have a huge round of sorry, everyone. It's my bad, ma'am. It's a huge mistake on mine. Please come here. I would like to call Govind, so that we can actually facilitate all our panelists. And kindly be seated for that. And after that, खड़े हो गए तो बैठ के आराम से चलो. ठीक है? So Govind, can we have you on stage, please? And I would like to pass on and facilitate all the panelists, please. Can we have our first moderator, Mr. Amit Kataria, on stage, please? Now, second, can we have Mr. Pranay Prakash, please? Can we have a huge round of applause? Next, can we have Dr. Padmakali Banerjee, please? Round of applause, please. Yeah, तालियां थोड़ी बड़ी. Now, can we have Mr. Rupesh, please, on stage? Next, can we have Ms. Monica, please, on stage? Next, can we have Mr. Ajay Poddar, please?
Yeah, he walked out of, I think.
Okay. Okay. So thank you all the panelists. And now we have the lunch for 45 minutes. Please have a great lunch, network, ask questions, and come back on time. Thank you so much. Have a great networking.